All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And we are here once again. We're going to get right into it. Pretty much got a few precepts that we want to get into. And as you can see in the title, The Great Armageddon. But we can see the Great Armageddon, right? Because that's the times that we're in, which we got to start speaking more and more about that, right? Remember, as prophets, our job is to warn. So we constantly go throughout the scriptures, and we bring out relevant precepts to the times that we're living in. As the angel told Ezra to measure the times diligently, right? So as watchmen, we're letting you know what's getting ready to happen, what times we're in now, and what's the next immediate times to come. Let's start off with the book of 2 Thessalonians, the first chapter. And we're going to go through these prophetic scriptures, okay, and really hit on that point. Main things like America being destroyed, the chariots, all right, the deliverance, okay, the MOTB. Go on. Because we're pretty much at that point, right? And hey, even the average folks in the U.S. are starting to see. I saw a video yesterday. You had this woman ranting because she was saying that shit is unaffordable. She got to go around cleaning houses, and her bills are like $3,000 a month. And she's like, yo, she's trying to raise kids, and it's too much. She said this country sucks. She hates it here. But she looked like an Edomite woman. I don't know if she is or not. But in times past, you wouldn't have heard that. In times past, they had that nice, happy, proud energy to be here, to be an American. But they're not proud to be an American anymore. Jerome Powell is making sure of that. Go on.
This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 1. Paul and the Silvanus and the Timotheus unto the church of Thessalonians, and God our Father and the Lord Yahushua Mashiach. Grace unto you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Yahushua Mashiach.
It shows you the power of the Lord, because for a period of time, the Apostle Paul was known as Saul, and he was actually persecuting the church. He was literally persecuting them, going against them. All right, getting like today you would have warrants to go after certain people. Well, he had the ability to do so, and he was on his way to Damascus persecuting the Christians. That the Lord came to him and turned them around.
Verse 3. We are bound to thank God always for you, brethren, as it is meet, because that your faith groweth exceedingly.
Yeah. So they basically, he's saying we're grateful for you, because you guys are growing in faith. All right, you guys are growing, and that's a beautiful thing, because for you to travel, the travels that the Apostle Paul did, laboring, setting up this church here, going through all this hell, and you got to deal with this and you got to deal with that. You over here, there's a lot of responsibility. So when you do all that laboring and your fruit doesn't come out right, it's stressful. So that's why they were very happy, whenever you had the churches that they were set up and they were actually doing right, following the ways. They set them up right, and the fruit started to grow, and they started to bring in more fruit. It was a beautiful thing to see, just like it is today. Go on.
And the charity of every one of you all toward each other abundant.
You know?
So that we ourselves glory in you in the churches of God for your patience and faith.
Right, so we glory in you. So hey, like as a matter of fact, what the Apostle Paul did, there's an example of that where he referenced he made an example of glorying in a particular church over another, which was when he said that these were more noble than the I believe he was talking about the church of Berea, and he was saying these were more noble than those in Thessalonica. So the Apostle Paul was glorifying one over the other, which sometimes you do when you give examples. Okay, you say, look at this individual. You see how he's doing it? That's how you're supposed to do it.
Hey, I was gonna say Howard Shai had his favorite. He loved John the most.
That's right.
So there's nothing wrong with everybody has favorites.
Yeah, that's a false concept. People think that favoritism, is a bad thing. Favoritism is natural. It's a part of nature. If you look at even animals, for example, when an animal has multiple children, they love them all, but they still have favorites, because that's a part of human nature. And even, matter of fact, let me not say a part of human nature, The only reason it's a part of human nature is because ultimately the Most High put that within us, because the Most High has favorites. And that's plain. When he says, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion, that's favoritism. You saying, I'm going to pick who I want. Those that I like are the ones that are going to be good. If I don't like you, then that's it. You get out of my face. I don't care what's going on. And the Lord doesn't like Esau. So what happened when Esau tried to do everything he could to get the birthright? Actually, he couldn't get it. Because the Lord said, I don't like you.
Right. And Joseph was the favorite son of Jacob.
Yeah.
And when you see how the story played out, you can see finally why he was the favorite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And then even to Benjamin. And because of that, and that's why they envied Joseph. Because Jacob's favorite was Joseph. Now, why didn't the Most High come to Jacob in a dream, send an angel to him, and smack him in the face and shit, tell him, what you doing? You can't be having favoritism like that. You see what's going on amongst your sons? You can't be doing that. The Most High didn't do that. He said David was a man after his own heart. As a matter of fact, Samuel told Saul that the Lord rejected him for one that was better, which was David. So Saul probably like, how you think that made me feel? Lord don't give a damn how you feel. Go on.
And all your persecutions and tribulations that you endure.
That's what we gotta get.
2 Thessalonians 1:4. So that we ourselves glory in you in the churches of God for your patience and faith, and all your persecutions and tribulations that ye endure.
Yeah, so all the things that you're going through, you're maintaining the faith and you suffering through it. Okay? As righteous men. Go ahead.
Which is a manifest token of the righteous judgment of God, that ye may be counted worthy of the kingdom of God, for which ye also suffer.
Yeah, because when you display these characteristics, it's a sign that truly the Spirit of the Lord is within you. Okay, and Lord willing, you continue in this way. That's today an example of what the Apostle Paul said. We say the same thing today when we say, well, they might be of the elect, or we are of the hopeful elect. That's why he's saying that you may be counted worthy to be a part of those, in that time. Go on.
Seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
So in other words, that's payback. See, the Most High deals with vengeance. He deals with revenge. He deals with payback. Payback, there ain't nothing wrong with revenge, but it has to be done righteously. And ultimately, you got to leave it up to the Lord. See, the Lord is the ultimate judge. So the problem is, when you take matters into your own hands, you tend to either overdo it, or you don't even do it justice, but the means that you have to go through in order to get your so-called lick back or your revenge might now put you in a position of difficulty. David in the ball. See, that was going to put David in a position of difficulty. But what? The Spirit of the Lord calmed him down through Abigail, and he calmed down and fell back, and the Lord still took on the ball. Go on.
Verse 7. And to you who are troubled, rest with us, when the Lord Yahushua shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels.
Right. So rest with us when the Lord Yahushua shall be revealed from heaven with his angels. So real quick. Okay, so we can read the NLT and then let's get Revelation 1 where he comes to the cloud. To back up that precept.
It's kind of like the same.
Okay.
Revelation 1:7. In the KJV, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him.
Mm-hmm. So who's coming with clouds? The same one that went up with clouds. If you get that real quick, Acts 1:9. So he come up with clouds. Who is that? The Messiah. And the clouds represent the so-called UFOs. See, a lot of the times, them UFOs are cloaked within the clouds, or they look like clouds. Go ahead.
Well, it says, every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him.
And they also which pierced him, right? So where does that go back to? That goes back to the Romans, okay? And even also those Israelites who said, let his blood be upon us and our children's children, right? So now the question is, wait a minute. This happened over 2,000 years ago. So how are they going to see the Lord when he comes back? Because that matter of fact, let's ask them Christians that. Hold on, reincarnation doesn't exist. So what does that precept mean? How are they going to see the Lord? Because where is he coming? He's not coming. He's already in the spirit world, but he's coming back to the earth. So how are those that died 2,000 years ago going to see the Lord when he comes back? Because those that pierced him had to have been there 2,000 years ago, no?
And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him.
Right.
Even so, Amen.
And why they gonna do that? Because in their minds, what they're seeing is an alien invasion. They're seeing not just one, they're gonna see a huge one, but they're gonna see other ones either coming out from around it, or they're just gonna see it. The skies are gonna be filled with chariots, okay? And they're gonna be sweeping, they're gonna be coming low, right? Now they're gonna be fulfilling that swing low, sweet chariot. But the thing is, for a lot of people, it's not gonna be a sweet chariot. Okay, it's gonna swing low and it's gonna be destroying. That's it. Swing low, sweet laser. And you see, you got people that are messed up because they're used to the laws that we're subject to, but the chariots are not subject to the laws that we're subject to, i.e., the laws of physics and gravity and so on and so forth. A chariot could shoot a laser beam that could curve, go back up in the air, and hit your ass from around the block. You know, you thinking, oh, well, if he shoots the beam here, I'm gonna do the Tom Cruise shit from World of Worlds, and I'm gonna jet over here, and I'm gonna go behind the building. So I'm gonna use the building as cover. Well, just like if Esau could come up with a heat-seeking technology that can follow you, your heat signature, you think the Most High can't have a laser that pinpoints on your ass specifically? Soul seeking, that's it. And this coming straight, finding wherever you at, and then it's gonna hit you. There's no escaping the times that are coming, and that's why the tribes are gonna wail, because they're gonna look up and they're gonna be horrified to even hear the sound of a chariot that size. See, naturally, people are scared of big things. Okay, when something is huge and you like massively huge, you are afraid of it just because of its sheer size alone. Why do people fear the Hulk? Because he's huge, and he got all. If the Hulk was like the size of an ant, even with all his strength, they're gonna look at him and I mean, I know he's strong, but shit, this thing look like an ant, you know. So they're gonna see a huge, what they call so-called UFO, and at the same time, this the world governments are spewing propaganda to make you fear them, to make you look at them as an enemy. So that's gonna add even more fear and more fire or yeah, whatever, more smoke, air, whatever to the flames.
I was gonna say that Lord can have that chariot beam turn the corner on your ass. That's it. You know, like Dark Side. DC has the Omega beam, and it can turn any direction. There's no escape, man. You go hide into your basement, the chariot beam gonna open up the door. Like on some cartoon shit. The Lord got a sense of humor. He can size you up many different ways, man. Infinite ways.
Yeah. That's why they're gonna wail. They're gonna be afraid. Let's look into that word wail. Let's see what they got on here for wail. Yeah. And it's gonna be a beautiful thing to see, because we've been waiting. You know, we're gonna be waiting. And when they come, we're gonna be singing. I mean, we're gonna be afraid too. But Lord willing, we ain't gonna be afraid that we about to get destroyed. We're just gonna be terrified because of, it's your adrenaline is gonna be pumping, your heart is gonna be beating, because you're seeing something you've never seen before. And they're moving fast. You're looking left, you're looking right, you hearing the, when something real fast swings by you, the sound waves, you're gonna be hearing that left and right. But keep in mind that at the same time, the earth itself is gonna be shaking. Parts of the earth is gonna be cracking up, tsunamis and earthquakes, and mainly just a wave of fire. That's gonna be some shit.
This is the word for whale. It says copto. 2875. Copto. And it says to cut, strike, smite, to cut from, cut off, to beat one's breast for grief.
There you go. To beat one's breast for grief. So that means they're gonna say you stressed. Okay, but they're gonna be stressed above stress when they see the return of the Lord. So let's go back. But that's the day we've been waiting. And they're gonna look at us like we crazy as hell. They're gonna say, this is the day I've been waiting for? This? You people are crazy, man. But that's okay. Because see, then they're gonna realize something. Because when the Lord willing, we of the elect, we start getting beamed up, they're gonna see that all they're left with is the fire. Then they're gonna say, oh shit, okay, maybe we want to get beamed up too. I'd rather get abducted than to get melted by that.
What, the Acts 1 and 9 real quick?
Yeah, let's get Acts 1 and 9 real quick.
Acts 1 and 9. It says, in the header, it says the ascension. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
So well, the Apostle John was there, right? So when he saw that, he along with the rest of the apostles, they saw Yahushua getting beamed up. And it says a cloud received him out of their sight, which had to be a chariot. It wasn't an actual physical cloud, it was a chariot. But he referred to it there as a cloud. So you think when he saw it in the visions in the book of Revelation that he didn't recognize it? And he just referred to it as a cloud again. Because in their time, the only things that were flying were clouds. You know, especially of that size. What else in their time would be flying like that? It would either be chariots or clouds or birds, but birds are not that big.
And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel,
Which were angels. Go on.
which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven.
There you go. So the same way he went up is how he's going to come back. And that's what we're waiting for. That's what John saw in the book of Revelation 1 and 7. Go on.
One last thing, Tilapia. In the word for cloud, it says Nephile, right? And it says a cloud, used of the cloud which led the Israelites in the wilderness.
And that cloud was shooting lasers out. And that cloud was able to be a pillar of fire by night and a cloud by day. So that clearly wasn't just a regular cloud. That's it.
This is 2 Thessalonians 1 and 8. In flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not God.
Let's go back up a bit. And one verse up.
Verse 7. And to you who are troubled, rest with us.
Now, why would you be troubled? You're troubled because of the cares of this world, because of the way that this world stresses us out.
Hey, Shalom Akim, Yahweh Shem Yahushua Brakatam.
Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatah. Let me turn the speaker on there. All right. You say something? Just make sure you're good.
Yahweh Shem Yahushua Brakatam.
Okay. Audio. All right. I think you're good. Cool. So yeah, so it says they that are troubled. What does that say?
And to you who are troubled, rest with us. When the Lord...
So how are they resting with us? Did the Apostle Paul rent out a big ass tent? And anybody that's troubled, you take turns. You know, you get 5 minutes, then the next brother gets 5 minutes, then the next brother gets 5 minutes. No, rest meaning rest mentally. Okay, and that's how we rest. See, when we do these lessons, we watch these videos, we meditate on these things to come. It gives us rest because it's a distraction or relief from the stresses of the world. So it's a rest. You know, when you come to camp, your mind is not thinking about the things of the world. So your mind is at rest from the labors of the world, from worrying about going to work and worrying about bills and worrying about, you know, tickets and all of those things. Right? So go ahead.
When the Lord Yahushua shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels.
Right, and his mighty angels. And that's what's coming soon. Go on.
In flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not God.
So how's he going, where the flaming fire going to come from? It's going to come from his chariot and the chariot of the angels. And at the same time, you're going to have the missiles flying. Okay? Taking what?
Taking vengeance on them.
Right, and we read up above that it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense
Tribulation to them that trouble you.
Tribulation to them that trouble you. So you got to. That's why the Lord said, the angel said it was better that you cast a millstone around your neck, you know, and basically throw your ass in the ocean than to offend one of the Lord's little ones, because the Lord is coming back to recompense you for troubling us. Go on.
And that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach.
To those that trouble us and those that don't obey the gospel of the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach. You want to teach whatever you want. You want to teach things contrary to the word of the Lord? He gonna come see you with fire. You don't want to take heed to the word of the Lord? He gonna come see you with fire. You want to sit here and make stupid ass videos telling women in their 20s that if they delusional, they should turn it up. That they should be toxic for all their 20s. You're gonna find out what some radioactive toxicity is like when that fire is coursing through your whole body and your spirit feels what divine heat is like. You're gonna find out if you're delusional or not.
Psalms 58:10. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked.
There you go. So now that also goes to show you, that's a hint towards who the righteous are, because it says the righteous shall rejoice, right? Well, when people hear about this, they don't go into a mental state of rejoicing. When they hear about the destruction coming, they're not ready to rejoice at that. They're not eager to see that happen. So what does that tell you? Because this idea the righteous are going to be ones that are eager to see that happen.
Look at vengeance. I said 144 results.
Oh, would you look at that? That's it. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, because the Lord gonna come back. He gonna set up his men, and they gonna come down and bring down vengeance too. Huh?
2 Thessalonians 1:9. Who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his power.
And what that's talking about is the lake of fire. Okay, that everlasting fire means it's going to burn for a long time, and they're going to be punished because they're going to be thrown up into that fire in the presence of the Lord. That's in Revelation 14:9, right? In the presence of the Lamb and the holy angels. So while the Lord is here, you're going to be burning up in there, and it's not going to be fun, but it's going to be all right. Go ahead.
Verse 10.
See, that's going to be the pain of regret over the pain of discipline. We suffering the pain of discipline now. That's in Zechariah. I think it's Zechariah 13:8. That I will bring the third part through the fire. But basically, he says what? I will bring the third part through the fire. So we're going through the spiritual fire. That's the discipline, the pain of discipline. They're gonna go through the pain of regret, because when in that moment when you're burning, because the Lord said He's gonna melt you. He's gonna leave you there and melt you, right? So in that moment when you're burning, you're feeling pain that is indescribable, pain that as a matter of fact, it has to exceed your flesh and permeate through your spirit, to where your spirit is now feeling pain. Okay, I'm just joking around with it, but the point is, you're feeling pain indescribable, and you realizing that there's nothing you can do about it. You're realizing that this is a consequence for your actions. That's what makes it hurt even more. You know, when you get mad, instinctively, like, you want to blame somebody. Like, you know, I mean, it gets to the point where if you hit your toe on a table, you start yelling at an inanimate object because you need to blame somebody. Somebody got to take the pain. So then you punch the table and hurt yourself even more, but you're a little satisfied because you feel like you got revenge for that pain that it caused you on your toes. But when you do something and you realize, like kids, look, if you tell a kid, yo, stop running over there, stop playing over there, and they don't listen, and they do something, they slip and they bust their ass. You know why a lot of them start crying? Some of them is not even about the pain. It's about the anger that they're the ones who did it to themselves. And you look at them and you say, look, see what you did? I told you to stop running there. And then they start crying because they get so mad that, I can't hurt nobody. I can't blame anybody. This was on me. You know, I should have listened. You know, and that pain and regret, man, that shit, a lot of people gonna feel that.
Hey, and that's why Yahushua said in the book of Matthew, the 25th chapter, he said what? There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. All right, when you're gnashing on your teeth, that means you're so angry. There's nothing you could do. You're hopeless. You're helpless. You're just pissed off, and you're like, damn, there's no hope, right? And you just like, damn, bro, I gotta go through this by myself. You're damn right, nigga. That's all you. The Lord is literally putting you. You know, He's putting a spirit on you right now to set you up for that time. You know, you have no discipline now. You're gonna regret that soon. And a lot of people going to regret that. It's written all throughout the scriptures. Many prophets of old all talked about this time that we're entering into, right? And now you think it's just going to be a thing that just blows over? Hell no, man. This is the pivotal moment of the end of this age. Recording history from all the way going back to the time of the flood, this is the end of that age period, that period of mankind. After this, we got the kingdom, something that's never been seen on this earth before. It's literally a new heaven and a new earth, where we're going to have the Israelites ruling with Yahushua on top, man. So we're not going, there's nothing on this earth right now as it's presently constituted that we're going to see in the kingdom very soon, man. All right, so that means that all the wickedness will be broken down on this side to build up for righteousness next. You know, like it tells you in the book of 2nd Ezra, is that the world now is for plenty, but the world to come is for a few. which starts with the elect. You know what I'm saying? So there's a balance to all this, but you got to understand, if you're an Israelite, in order to enjoy the kingdom, if you're wicked, you're going to die on this side. You're going to be purified on this side with that fire, man. You know, that physical fire that's going to come, that the Lord is going to deliver us from, which is the elect. Okay, but you're going to have to go through that fire to be purified. Your spirits are going to be purified, man. You know, scriptures tell you that they shall know it after death by pain. All right, so there's pain that's coming. Is the age and the time of pain, evil times. You know what I'm saying? And when you read all these articles and you go into all these different agendas that these devils have, it spells nothing but pain, bro. Ain't no breaks, ain't no I'm gonna just have no. It's nonstop, step by step by step. You know, here it is. We got fires going on, you got hurricanes going on, you got earthquakes going on. The Heavenly Father is doing all these things. But you wait till the sword gets there. You wait till where there's famine, there's sword, there's destruction, the pestilence, all at once. You know, how are you gonna get out of that? Only the elect are gonna get out of that with the help of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.
Right.
All right. But you got it.
God. And as the scriptures say, like you said, like the Lord told Jeremiah, right? Such as are for the sword to the sword, such as are for the captivity to the captivity, such as are for death to death. You know, and like you mentioned, really the kingdom is going to be the third world, because you had the first, which was pre-flood, then you had the second, which was post-flood, and it's going to end with fire, and then the third, which is going to be after that. So really, we're going to be in that the third world, you know. But yeah, let's keep going, and that's going to be an everlasting world. Let's keep going in that.
2 Thessalonians 1:10. When he shall come to be glorified in his saints and to be admired in all them that believe.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to admire the Lord. When he gets here, we're going to see him as he is. Everybody's going to bow and reverence, because you know you're not going to even be able to think twice about it. You're going to see majesty and power so high that your body does not, like, you know, you watch some anime, there be some characters that their presence alone is so strong, it makes people like just bow down by force. You know, like they can't even stand up or breathe right. Or imagine the vibration alone of the Lord, like the presence that there's some people today on the earth that walk by and their presence intimidates others. Just them being around alone intimidates people. How much more for an actual God? You know, as he takes a step, boom, oh my God. everybody gonna get down quick. You know, you're gonna get down to lay down. And if you don't, the major's gonna slap you right into the concrete. You know, next thing you know, you're gonna be like 2D character right in the concrete.
Because our testimony among you was believed in that day.
Yeah, see? So they can be accounted worthy because they believe the testimony. So what we're doing right now is we're carrying on the testimony of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, the gospel, the good news. And so it shows you we're not making this up. Really, the scriptures are a testimony, because they were written by men who witnessed the power of the Lord and recorded it down. So it's a testimony. Go on.
Hey, that's why you have the Old Testament and you have the New Testament. It's a testimony. See? There you go.
That's it. Go on.
Wherefore also we pray always for you, that our God will count you worthy of this calling, and fulfill all the good pleasure of his goodness.
Yeah, that shows you the sincerity that the Apostle Paul had. See, that he wasn't just going around he wasn't just, oh, I got a church here, I got a church. See, I got some over here, I got some over there. You know, you should check out my ones over there. You know, I got some over here. You know, like certain other groups, they like to, you know, boast about, oh, we got this, we doing it. But guess what? The Apostle Paul sincerely cared about the churches, the brethren. You know, as he says, we're constantly praying for you. You know, that your faith stays strong, that you continue to grow. You know, that you don't go on to the end. And that's why he was so stressed and vexed, especially with the Corinthians. Whenever there would be other people coming in there with heresies, you know, and saying all this, that, and the third, it really got to him. We got real pissed. Go on.
And fulfill all the good pleasure of his goodness, and the work of faith with power.
Right, and that's what we're doing. Right now, we're doing the work of faith. How do you know it's a work of faith? Because Yahushua didn't physically come down and tell us this. So how is it that we know? And you know what? The Lord set it up to where we have a structure. He set up teachers and stuff, but keep in mind, like, how did they get that structure? Nobody really came and gave them the exact blueprints. But through faith, you know, one led to another, which led to another, and now we have a structure, and we believe through faith, and we work through faith. We come out here every time, we teach the scriptures, and we're actually doing an established work through faith. I believe, therefore I spoken. Go on.
That the name of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach may be glorified in you.
Right, that the name of the Lord may be glorified in you. So the more we go out there and teach, the more fruit, more people hear and they listen and they repent. Guess what? The name of the Lord gets glorified in them. Then more people start calling upon Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Can you imagine how small, how few of a number it was when men started calling upon Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai on the earth again? Remember, when you read in the book of Genesis, then began men to call upon the name of the Lord, right? And now, after the cry went out, men started to call upon the name of the Lord again. Can you imagine how refreshing that was? But yet again, how very few people actually did. And then over time, the YouTube era came, and then the name just went out there. And it was like if you've ever seen the animated movie of I think it's called The Prince of Egypt. On the night of the Passover, there was that spirit that was just going. It was like searching through door to door, and wherever there wasn't any blood on the doorpost, it went up in there and killed them. Well, that's how the word of the Lord goes. The name of the Lord is imagine like if a missile hit and you got the wind from the blast radius just going everywhere, but yet it's only hitting certain people, which are the elect. It's going boom right up into their heads, and once it's there, that's it. You feel different. Oh shit! Like whoa, what's going on? Oh shit! That's pretty much how the word of the Lord works. That's why we just speak. We teach the word, and the internet carries it out, and it finds who it needs to find. Go on.
And ye in him, according to the grace of our God and the Lord Yahushua Mashiach.
Yeah, because this is all happening according to the grace of the Lord, right? The mercy and the grace of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushua, not according to our will. Go on. All right, now let's jump to Psalms 91. Then we're gonna hit Matthew 24. But matter of fact, let's start Matthew. Let's jump to Matthew 24, and then we're going. Let's get into it. From the top.
Matthew 24:1.
Because that's also another crucial one, right? You got Matthew 24, Luke 21, Mark 13, and these are all dealing with they give you Yahushua himself gave you a nice rundown of what was going to take place. So Matthew 24, Luke 21, and Mark 13 are crucial precepts for you to understand prophecy. Okay, they're very prophetic precepts. Go on.
Matthew 24:1. And Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to shew him the buildings of the temple.
Because remember, at this time, the life cycle of the temple was back in the wilderness. It was known as the tabernacle. So the Lord had given us the blueprint on how, and then what's this guy? Oh, his name escapes me. But the Lord, there were certain individuals that the Lord actually put the Spirit within them to be masterful at building. Bezalel, I think, Bezalel was one of them, and I think there was another one too, where they could basically understand the blueprints that the Lord gave Moses, and they could build it accordingly. Okay, be it the actual the tabernacle, and then they also had to get, I think, badger skin along with ram skin, and so on and so forth for the roofing of the tabernacle. They had to get the pillars, at a certain width, a certain height. They had to get the bottom pieces of the pillars that they would then put the sockets in. They designed the menorah, to where it had like those almond looking designs on it. All of these things. The Lord is very specific, and we were in the wilderness, and we were able to do this with gold and all of that. The designing the rings on the corners of the ark.
Exodus 31:1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, See, I have called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God, in wisdom, and in understanding, and in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship, to devise cunning works, to work in gold, and in silver, and in brass, and in cutting of stones to set them, and in carving of timber, to work in all manner of workmanship.
So that's the Spirit.
He was a jack of all trades.
And then he'll smoke anybody that went to trade school to become a top notch, because the Lord put the Spirit in them. See, when the Lord needs you to do something, all he got to do is put the Spirit on you. Like in the Matrix, they program it into your mind, and all of a sudden Kung Fu. Well, guess what? That's the same thing here. So, for example, the King David said, "The Lord teacheth my hands to war." Now he already knew how to fight, but the Lord made him exceptional. Okay, same thing here. So now when Moses and Aaron, came down and the elders, they said, okay, this is how we got to do it. Bezalel, he knew exactly what needed to be done. He knew what materials were needed, how much of what was needed, who need to do what, where we need to measurements, all of these things. Okay.
If I may, real quick, I'm just going to add to the brother's point. It shows you how meticulous the Lord is and how detail oriented the Lord is. And if he's like that with the first tabernacle, how much more with his tabernacle, the real third temple, which is the elect and the doctrine that he gave us. Right. You got guys that are trying to say you could teach anything, teach it any which way. Well, they would have got smoked like Aaron's sons back when that time came, when they was offering strange incense. I forgot their names.
Yeah, you're right. What's up? Abinadab? Was he one of them?
Yeah, it may have been Abinadab.
The sons that got smoked by the fire for offering strange fire, strange incense unto the Lord. I forgot the name of the other one though, but I think he had about 4 sons. You had Eleazar and it was Ithamar, one of them.
Ithamar, Eleazar. I can't remember the other 2. It'll come back to me.
But yeah, that's a good point, right? For disobedience, they got cooked. Then the Lord told Aaron, you can't be mourning about this.
Strange incense is likened unto another doctrine as well.
Right.
Think about this truth. If the Lord, put them to death for that, and in these last days, what is it likened unto us? We're putting up a sweet savor of the truth. So the Lord wants us to be on point and detail oriented when it comes to the knowledge, breaking down the prophecies the right way. You got some guys that said, "Oh, Yahweh Shai gonna work out that doctrine stuff later." Like, bro, he already worked it out now. What did he got going down on the cross for us to have not the whole truth? Right.
Yeah, you had, I believe it was Eleazar, Ithamar, Abihu, and Nadab.
Abiathar?
No, Abihu and Nadab.
Abihu.
Those were the 2 that got slaughtered, and Ithamar and Eleazar, did the right thing according to the Lord.
Right. Yep. So it goes to show you, man. Just because you descend from a righteous man doesn't make you righteous. See, like Samuel. Samuel had sons, but they weren't righteous, and that's why Israel went seeking a king. They said, "Yo, we can't be ruled by your sons. Look at them. They doing this. They doing that." But Samuel was a righteous man, So
was Eli, right?
Eli did the same thing, but also Samuel, his sons were also off,
right.
But yeah, same thing.
Even Yahushua, he had 2 brothers that didn't believe. You see, so how about that? The Messiah himself had 2 biological brothers that didn't really believe that he was a Messiah.
Yep. God. Yeah, that's crazy. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, but it goes to show you the Lord is very particular. That's why he said, "I shall save 2 of a family, 1 of a city."
I was going to say too, going to show you as well, one of the first rebellions, I think the one from Numbers in 16th chapter was started by Corey, which he was a Levite.
Yep. Corey, Dathan,
and Abiram. So the rebellion was by Corey was like the spearhead, and he was a Levite, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I believe Dathan and Abiram were Reubenites.
Right.
Yeah.
Want to include all the tribes in the priesthood, but it wasn't time yet.
Yeah. So what the Lord do? He opened up the earth and included them in that. About inclusivity, See, what? Ain't nothing wrong with inclusivity. Lord gonna show you what real inclusivity looks like. He gonna include you in the destruction. We're good with exclusive. All right, we're fine with that. The fewer, the merrier. This ain't the more, the merrier. The fewer, the merrier. Okay. So we don't want you. We don't want these wicked demons to be a part of this. We don't want you to be a part of this. You can be a part of it when the time comes, when the Lord decides to have mercy on you. But as a matter of fact, for all you sodomites and you wicked demons out there, stay over there. We don't want you over here. If the Lord has mercy upon you and you repent, then we look at you different. But until then, we're looking at you the way we're looking at you. The same way you look at us. Right. So going back to the life cycle of the temple, so they started in the wilderness. They had the blueprint. They built it all out, and they made it in such a way where whenever they would move, you had the different families of the Levites. I believe you had the sons of Aaron. You had the Kohathites. You had the I forget the different groups, but I think there were about 3 main families, which were in charge of different parts of the temple or the tabernacle. Some would keep charge of, like, the tent and the staff and all that they would carry. Some would keep charge of I think it was Aaron's sons that were in charge of the actual ark, and all the inner, more holy things. And so whenever they would move, they would all gather up. Israel would be in camps, right? And they would march. They would go wherever they got to go. Then they came up into the actual land, and then I believe the Lord put the spirit on David to want to build the temple to the Lord. It shows you why David was a man after the Most High's heart, because David was all about the will of the Lord. What does the Lord want? What's going to please the Lord? What actions am I going to do that's going to please the Lord? So while he was there, he said, well, Lord, I got a house. I got all these things. What about you? Where are you going to dwell? And then he said, let me build a house for you. And the Lord was okay with it, but he said, I can't have you build it, because your hand is already too bloody. But you know why? The Lord really wanted Yahushua to build it. He wanted that glory and that recognition to really go to Yahushua. Because the Lord could have just said, all right, fine, you can build it. Using the blood, you got too much blood in your hands. That was just so David could not filter. But he really wanted Yahushua to do it. That's why he sent Yahushua as David's son, Solomon, okay, to go and do it. And it's very interesting how I believe Yahushua's mother was Bathsheba, right? If I'm not mistaken, which was the woman David committed adultery with, no?
Solomon's mother.
Solomon. When I say, I meant Solomon. Solomon's mother. So it's very interesting that David committed adultery with this woman. The firstborn died, and then Yahushua came through, or Solomon came through, as the second one. And then he built this marvelous temple for the Lord. Gold, and this thing was absolutely marvelous. It was just beautiful, right? Then the Babylonians came and destroyed that. And then after that, we came back from Babylon and we rebuilt it. But it wasn't as marvelous as the first, but it was good because we had resources from the Persian kings and so on and so forth. And then this damn demon Antiochus came up in there, fucked the shit up again. And then Herod came up in there and said, I'm gonna gain favor with the Jews, so I'm gonna build this up nicely. I'm gonna add this, patch this up, do this all good stuff. So that's where we at, pretty much at the time of Yahushua. Herod had basically revamped the temple to look really good because he wanted to gain favor with the Jews. And they knew he wasn't a Jew. So now we go back to Matthew.
Just to go off the point you just had before, it was Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. Those were the Levite families that were in charge of doing various things for the tabernacle.
Water.
Yep. Matthew 24:2. And Yahushua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there should not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Yeah, and why was that? Because 70 AD was coming. The siege of Jerusalem was going to come, and that place was going to be, he said, well, everything you're seeing here is going to be done. So Yahushua already knew was getting ready. And that's the same thing we say. Like if people came out here, look how beautiful America is. Look at all the landscape, look at all these skyscrapers. And I'm like, you seen all this, it's going to be destroyed. All this ain't going to be there. When we go into the precepts of the line of confusion, basically we're telling you, look, you ain't going to even be able to see where one state starts and one state ends, and the I-95 and the I-287 and all these whatever interstate driveways and parkways and all these things are. It's all going to be destroyed. Cars, people, buildings, Empire State Building, all of that. Go on.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
Yeah, so he's saying, so at this point, this finally starting to catch on. Like, you've been talking about, you keep dropping these like metaphorical things about how where you go, we can't come, and we can't follow you there, and you're the door, and you're gonna need to die, and the son, Son of Man must be rejected and die, and he must do this, But eventually they start, you going somewhere, so what's getting ready to happen? Because you're saying the temple is going to be destroyed. Like, what are the signs that we're going to know, all right, this is getting ready to happen, and when you coming back, and when is the end of the world? When is the end of this age? Because remember that when Yahushua rose from the dead, one of the first things they asked him was, are you now going to restore the kingdom to Israel? Because then that would be the beginning of a new age. That would be the end of them being under the Romans, okay, them having to pay taxes and be subject to these garrisons and all of this. All right?
And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many.
Which that happened in that time, a little bit after that time, and even more so in this time. So really, the Lord was talking to them in their time, but he was also talking to us because we are them. You know, that the Lord was talking to us in the future because we are them. He knew we were going to come back again, and he knew we were going to have access to these words. So show you how deep the Lord spoke. He spoke twofold. He said, I'm going to talk to you now, but I'm also leave a little sign for you when you come back again, and then bring this back to your remembrance.
It's like he threw a Hail Mary pass like 2,000 years in the future, and through the Spirit of the Lord, we caught it. Right. Starting with the apostles, caught it right in the end zone, baby. It says, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many.
Yeah, and then you had them, you had different individuals that rose up that started to gather followings after them, and started to, you had some that were trying to go up against the Romans, right? There's if you look up this guy Bar Kokhba, there's the Bar Kokhba revolt, right? You had another individual that came up. I forget exactly what his name was, but he basically was saying he was Moses all over again. Took all these people and drowned the ass in the I forgot what body of water it was. So basically, because when you read in the book of Josephus, it tells you this demon led everybody to the brink of the water again and said, we're gonna cross this ocean again. And then you got Jake that started jumping up in the water. And then some of them realized that, hold up, these niggas ain't walking. All you seen is dead bodies coming up on the top of the water. They said, oh shit.
Jake is so foolish, man.
He said, got me messed up, man. That's why I said they lost sheep, man.
Right.
Hey, and the same thing is happening again this time around. You got all these other camps that are coming up and pushing all kinds of different ideologies that's going to lead to people's death.
Yep.
Saying the number one thing saying that the MOTB is not what we say it is, but you got people who are not even in the truth who come out and say this lines up perfectly with what's written in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, and they're not even into the scriptures like that. They say there's only one book on this planet that lines up with this prophecy right here. So and then you got other pastors who are in the churches that are also talking about this. They're saying, hey, the CBDC and all these different things, but they're basically saying the same things that we saying. That the MOTB is going to come and it's coming soon, and this is how it's going to look and this is how it's going to function according to the scriptures. But yet you got other camps who are calling themselves Israelites, preaching that they're Israelites, but yet they're not teaching the congregation about this. Is something very, 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 very wrong with that? But yet that's again reincarnation. The same spirits are back here again doing the same exact thing, believing dumbass shit like a nigga claims that he's Moses and niggas is following him and jumping off the seashores and shit. Yeah, same thing, man. You're gonna jump right up to your death.
Yeah, they misleading people, but they're on magazine covers. Oh shit, okay. It's like, man, too through. But hey, it's necessary. You must need be. As a matter of fact, it's fine because guess what? It's another sign that we are what in the last days. Okay, so but over here we're gonna keep it simple. We don't want to be on no magazine cover. We don't want that, but we want to teach the scriptures. That's it. That's all we do. We teach the scriptures. What's so bad about that? We know the scriptures, so we teach it. That's what we're commanded to do. What?
Matthew 24:6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars,
which we're seeing now. The whole Ukraine and Russia, and now the Iran and the U.S. and China and all these things. The Lord warned about that, right? That ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and we're seeing that now in this time. Go on.
See that ye be not troubled.
Meaning, don't lose your mind because you're hearing North Korea is firing off missiles, doing missile tests. Don't lose your mind because you're seeing some of these wars going on just yet. Go on.
For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Right. So all these things, they got to happen. They're part of the signs of prophecy, but the end time ain't yet.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. These things still have to happen, which we're seeing. And shit, we're going to see what happens next year. Because with this whole Trump and Biden situation, on either side, it's not looking like somebody's taking no for an answer. So we're going to see what happens. Go on.
And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places.
Right, and that's what you're seeing. Right, especially now. The past 3 years you had forms of pestilences, and that's not the only form that's out there. Now they're saying that there's a resurgence of this and X, Y, and Z. Now, guess what? Even though it's artificially manufactured by Esau, it's still a form of pestilence because people still get it. You know, people still get taken down. You know, at X, Y, and Z, and it talks about earthquakes. Okay, and famines and earthquakes in diverse places, which the famines are going to start picking up soon because all of these other disasters are going to lead to food insecurities, as the UN has been so-called warning about for all these years. And people are not paying attention to it because so long as you can go and Burger King is still giving you, McDonald's is still giving you Happy Meals, to them, there's no such thing as a famine. It doesn't exist. Go on.
Oh, these are the beginning of sorrow.
Yeah, that's why I said, don't bug out when you hear of wars and rumors of wars, because there's still other things that got to happen, and these are the beginning. This is the entrance way. You know, it's like if you walked up to an entrance and you saw earthquakes, famines, pestilence. All right, this is the door for Jacob's trouble. Okay, this section is where we about to enter into. The beginning of sorrow. Go on.
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Which this happened, okay, during their time, okay, and even now. But during during the time of the apostles, because after Yahushua left, you had the time of the Acts of the apostles, where some of them, really a lot of them, got put to death. Then they had the persecution of the Christians, where everybody was just coming up against them, okay, killing them for sport because they believed in Yahushua.
That shows you got to know his name.
Right.
You know, you're gonna be persecuted for believing in Yahushua. Although the Christians, so-called Christians, are gonna get lumped in the same category as us, but really the main persecution is going to be aimed at those that believe in the name of Yahushua.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, because if you believe in the name of Yahushua, you're gonna stand up, for Yahushua. As a matter of fact, let's go there real quick. You already know it. You already know it. You already know it. And there's gonna be a reward for that. There's gonna be a great reward for that. See, we know we got our eyes on the prize. Eyes on the prize. Eyes on the prize. Okay, and our eyes are staying on the prize. So all these other things that come in, and then you guys are this, and you guys are that, and you guys are this. Well, you see, if we're so irrelevant, why pay so much attention to us? Why not just leave us alone and let us do what we do? But clearly, whatever we're saying or teaching has it holds some weight.
Hey, real quick before the brother ICR gets into that precept, this morning is heavy. This morning, I saw a couple of videos, and I think I shared one of them. And it was one that was going into what was happening during the time of the slavery, the 1800s, early 1900s, and so on and so forth, and what Esau was doing to Jake during those times. It was going into a whole lot of sexual perversion that they put our people through. And there's books on that. Lord willing, I'm gonna, of course, purchase those books and start getting into them. But that was one thing I saw, and I said, damn, this is all history that they don't even teach us, right? This is all stuff that they try to hide. Yeah, it's bad enough to hear about, our children are being used as alligator bait, all these different things, but also during the times of the plantation, what was actually happening there? You know what I'm saying? The kind of shit that Jake had to deal with, right? And I'm seeing all these things. I'm like, damn. And then I'm reading the comments. Yo, all you see is, payback is coming. Even Edomites are saying it. They're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that this was our history. People are saying that, hey, the modern day Karens today are those old slave plantation women, the wives of these slave plantation owners who are partaking in all this debauchery, man. And they all saying it. Everybody's saying the same thing. Like, yo, only judgment is gonna come against this country. Look at what they've done to these people, And then a few hours after that, I saw another video of this Edomite lady. She was like talking to a Jake, and she was saying that, all Christianity, everything she's learned has been a lie. And that it wasn't until she started reading the scriptures and she found out that, oh shit, everything that has been taught to me and my people was lies. She said everything that you guys have been through was actual biblical prophecy because you guys are the children of Israel. She said that. She said, I didn't know until I opened up the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. I said, oh, hold on. Hold on. Again, the Lord said this gospel is going to be preached throughout the whole entire world, and then the end shall come. So now we're living in the end, and you don't think the Lord is going to give us the name? When Moses was being sent to the children of Israel at the end of our bondage, what was the first thing he went over and said to them? He asked the Lord, when I get there, whose name am I coming in? And he said, go out there and tell them Yahweh sent you, right? So when Moses went there, he said, hey, your God Yahweh sent me to come here and deliver you from captivity. Then they agreed, because then the elders are like, okay, all right, you know what you're talking about. You see? So it's the same thing. We are at the end of this captivity, and the name of the Lord is what's being pushed with the truth.
Yep.
Okay. So it's very important to go into the names. That's why you have to be very careful when you got other camps saying, oh, the name is not important. Nigga, what? Who on this planet Earth doesn't care about their names? Especially in our custom, in our culture, names are very important. Names are known as nomen omen, right? Name prediction and so on and so forth. Go back into history and read about all these great men. You think their names are just there? Why do you think it's written in the scriptures, man? Right? Till today, all these thousands of years ago, we still know the name Moses. We still know the name Aaron and so on and so forth. David, Solomon, right? All the prophets of old, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Daniel, Isaiah, you name them, their names are all written in the scriptures. Even the disciples, Peter, John, James, all the apostles, man. Now you won't tell me that, oh, the name is not important? The most pivotal time where you got to know the name is all of a sudden it's not important. You can call them whatever you want. And you niggas out there, man, the Lord is going to destroy you niggas, man. He's going to destroy you niggas, your churches, your congregation, all the folly that's going on. The Lord is going to bring that judgment. Heavy judgment is coming, man. All right? And it's very, very frustrating when you hear shit like that. It's like a clown. It's like a joke. You can't take the Lord as a joke, man. This is the most important time in our history, and you got niggas playing around. You got niggas joking around, coming up with all kinds of bullshit philosophies, man. What the hell is going on with you niggas? You never learn. And that's why the Lord said, why should you be stricken anymore? Like, it doesn't change you, right? You niggas is just stupid. You're wicked. You're stubborn, right? Jeremiah had to go through it. You know, these are Sodom's children. They're Lord, why? You know, Ezekiel, the Lord said, I'll make your forehead hard against their forehead. That's the same things we're dealing with, man. You know, and it gets frustrating because you see the apostles, you see brothers doing videos upon videos, correction after correction, admonition after admonition, and you still got dumbass niggas coming up saying dumb shit. It doesn't make sense. That's why they gotta go. You imagine the Lord come back and we all gotta get on the chariot with these niggas. You know how many questions they're gonna be asking? Or that's the Lord? You sure that? Nigga, no, bro. You sit your ass over here, get the missiles. We gonna be beamed up and we gonna see you soon, man. That's how it's gonna have to be. You see? But these niggas gonna come back. And when the Lord comes back, I wouldn't be surprised if these niggas gonna be trying to join in with Esau to try to make war against the Lord, man. Why? That's why they're gonna be destroyed. You see? Because these niggas don't learn, man. They don't fucking learn. And it's fucking frustrating, bro. You know? But judgment is coming. Heavy judgment is coming for all you niggas who don't take the name of the Lord seriously, man. His name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushua, period, man. Ain't no other ways around it. If you call upon any other name, you're gonna receive that judgment very soon, man. Because the Lord about to turn up, man. Very soon. All right? But you got it, Salakia.
Yeah, no. It's all good, man. That's the spirit. You know, that's the spirit of the Lord, letting you know, man, that ultimately but that's why it says the Lord is long suffering. You know, because when the Lord, see, when you're dealing with a power like the Most High and Yahushua, the turn up is crazy. And in fact, it's so crazy that they're very careful as to when they do that. The last time the Lord got angry, only 8 people survived. You know, I mean, just as a reminder, only 8 people survived. He completely decimated a whole 5 cities, you know, with fire and brimstone. So when that's why the scriptures talk about this time. So the Lord has prepared, you know, a time in history that he has reserved to unleash all of his wrath. And that's why he's preserved all these Israelites, these wicked ass individuals, to basically be partakers of that judgment. You know? So it's okay because they got to do that. You know, they got to be the rule. And as a matter of fact, the worse they get, the better the chances are for us. You know, because the Lord really creates that separation. I was talking to Aaron about it a couple of weeks ago, how the way we live our life is so, it's so different from the rest of this world. It's crazy. The things we think about. I mean, we're not the type that, you know, go out like you just there and you just got to be outside. If you don't got a reason, you just got to be outside just to be outside. You know, looking for shit, trying to go here, like the rascal mindset. We don't got time for that, man. You know, we got more important things to be dealing with. But that's the mindset of Jake. They got to go outside and find something where the party at. You know, where's this at? Like, yo, I'm trying to hit up this, but like, bro, shut your ass up, sit home, and just chill out, man. You know.
And just to what you said reminded me of, I seen some Jakes that I had on social media, right? And one of their family members died, Ephraim, right? So they was when they were burying him at the gravesite, they was turning up, standing on top of cars, playing trap music, popping bottles. Like everything is a goddamn celebration to Israel, man. to niggas, you know? And they're not going to get it until that time comes. The missile's going to be dropping and be like, oh, the Lord is real. Oh, I should have listened. Oh, it's going to be like, you know, all them realizations at once, like your life flashing before your eyes, all the foolishness. But that goes to show they are obsessed with death. And then they wonder why this type of shit happens. You know, he was probably a loudmouth, a hothead. That's why he got in a position. They played videos of him. The dude was just talking shit. Oh, let's remember him, you know. And then when they get to the gravesite, turn up. Yeah. Loud ass music. Imagine you pull up to the gravesite and you see a bunch of niggas around the grave dancing and madness, bro.
Degenerates. That's why the Most High is going to wipe them off the face of the earth. Because they need to be wiped off the face of the earth. All right, they're a disgrace. They're a stain in our nation. You know, the Most High is going to deal with them. The How about Shem Shai is going to deal with them, like the brother said. You know, he's got a special judgment for them, as it says in First or Second Peter 4:17, that judgment must begin at the house of God first. So he's going to do a major house cleaning, man. And when them who do you think the famine's are for? Why do you think it's called Jacob's trouble? Yeah, every other people going to go through it too, but it's basically the Lord whipping his children's ass and then sparing his elect from it. Let's go ahead.
2nd Ezra 2:40. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord.
Which one do you like?
The number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord that thy people, which have been called from the beginning, may be hallowed.
Which are once again the elect. And how are they being hallowed? By this word. So they were called from the beginning. So us doing this is not a coincidence. The Lord done set us up from the very beginning that we would be doing this in this very day and age. That's how he was able to tell Daniel, stand in your lot, because you know in the last days you're gonna do the same thing. That's how he was able to tell the Apostle John that he's gonna prophesy again before many peoples and kindreds and tongues. You know? Go ahead.
Hey, I got a quick precept to back up that point.
Go on.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 6 and verse 8. It says, yet will I leave a remnant. So going back to the point you're making, that there's a few of us that's going to be left in these last days to proclaim the name of the Lord. And that's done by design, right? It says, Ezekiel 6 and verse 8, it says, yet will I leave a remnant, that ye may have some that shall escape the sword among the nations, when ye shall be scattered throughout the countries. And they that escape of you shall remember me among the nations, whither they shall be carried captives, because I am broken with their whorish heart, which hath departed from me, and with their eyes, which go a whoring after their idols, and they shall loathe themselves for the evils which they have committed in their abominations. All right. So again, the judgment is going to come for those who chose to live ungodly. Okay. Again, you're going after these idols. You're going after these pagan customs like Christianity. Christianity is a pagan custom, bro. And if 2023, if you don't know the origins of Christianity and you still in it headlong, you know there's judgment coming for your ass because you don't know the Lord. You really don't. If you did, you stay away from these churches. Again, these churches are what they call they're houses of whoredom and idol worship. That's what these churches are made for. What's that?
It's modern day groves.
Modern day groves, exactly. Which covens and shit. That's what these churches are made of. You know, they got the hot cross buns and all this bullshit. That's all going to baking cakes to the Queen of Heaven. You know what I'm saying? They get into these things. You know, the Semiramis, Tammuz, and all that shit. People really. Hey, man, the judgment is coming, bro. If you don't wake up with all this truth that's out there and you still don't get it, there's nothing we could do for you, man. It is what it is. All right. It says, verse 10, Ezekiel 6 and verse 10, it says, and they shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh, and that I have not said in vain that I will do this evil unto them. All right. So it's not in vain. All the stuff that the Lord said he's going to do is going to come to pass, especially in these last days. Okay. You got all kinds of different things that's brewing: diseases, pestilences, famine, the sword, Esau's technology. Do you know what that's all about? Do you know who they're targeting against? You know what I'm saying? So it's being done on all fronts. Yesterday, I saw a video. They saying the World Economic Forum is coming out and saying that, look, we failed the first time by trying to Vanessa the whole entire planet. We failed. They said, now the next thing we got to do is not only Vanessa the meat that people going to eat, but also the water that people going to be drinking.
And the air.
That's where they're going with it. Huh?
I said, and the air.
And the air, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, it's a battle on all fronts. And if you ain't prepared in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, you're not going to make it, bro. They're going to get you on every single way possible. We need the Lord. You You know, we need the angels to come in and fight on our behalf. We need Yahweh Bashmi Al to lead us and guide us through this time, because without that, man, ain't no hope, bro. Ain't no hope, man. Because, bro, I'm studying this shit and I'm like, yo, we need the Lord to come deliver us, because there ain't no way. There's no way. They've been planning this for years. They have technology that goes back in 1990. The technology that they had back in 1990, today, we wouldn't even be able to come back that. So how much more now? Come on, bro. Hey, listen, we need the Lord to fight for us. If not, we're screwed. But guess what? Ultimately, all this stuff that they got cooking, guess what? It's the Lord who put the Spirit on them to do these things anyway. And guess what? He's going to use it and turn it around against them. You see? So it's a win-win for the elect and a lose-lose if you're not the elect, man. Point blank, period. You got it.
Yeah, the Lord set it up that way. And most see, He set it up so we could be in this position where we call upon Him for help. And like you were saying earlier, we really putting the pieces together through the Spirit, and these other people are following it. I saw a thumbnail maybe like 2 days ago, talking about the Day of Atonement 2023, and they had a Edomite looking pastor's face on it. And I'm looking at it like, since when the churches ever preach about Day of Atonement 2023? All of a sudden, you're talking about the Day of Atonement right around the same time that it's actually happening. What? You're not following the Amalekites anymore? What's going on? You know, so a lot of these actual high holy days and biblical historical accounts and certain customs, they never used to go in that. Them churches were always stuck up in the New Testament talking about the gospel and this, that, and the third. And every once in a while they'll bring out a psalm here and there. But now all of a sudden they're going up into the laws, into the script, the Leviticus. They're going into the laws on different situations and holy days and stuff. Like, where's that coming from? And then, like the brother was saying, now they're connecting the MOTP to the CBDC to all of these things. Who started doing that? You know, I remember all the way going back to 2018, we were doing videos on CBDC, and it was like a brand new foreign concept to us. We saw some articles on RT News. They were talking about digital currencies and CBDCs. I remember that very vividly. You know, we were like, damn, man, we ain't trying to wait for, because they were saying that's like 2-3 years later down the line. We like, man, just bring out the MOTV. But we, you know, in the back of your mind, you knew, you know, more than likely the realistic way is going to go is that it's likely going to have to come out first before this can go forward. But in the other side of you, the carnal side is like, no, we don't need no CBDC. Just bring out the MOTV, you know. But nevertheless, through the Spirit, we put it together, and we told you that the MOTV was not the Vanessa. Yeah, people jumping up and down because they get so eager. The second some event happens, you want it to be everything. No, you sure it's not the Vanessa? I mean, they saying people can't do this, that, and the third. Well, here we are today. What's up? Who's in the lake of fire? That ain't happening. But we're getting closer and closer to that point. So as we put the pieces together, they start seeing it. They're like, oh, that makes sense. Then they start teaching it. In the Bible, in Revelation 13, it talks about and that's what you're seeing today as the digital currency. Even all the way in Ghana, you got Ghanaian pastors talking about connecting the CBDC to this, to that, speaking in tree and everything.
Hey, real quick, last night, I just came to me. Last night, I had a dream. And in the dream, bros were all kind of like hanging out. And then something happened. And all I remember was 3 days. It was like, all of a sudden, it was just like America, the whole entire country was just like black. And it was like nobody was able to access their debit card, credit card. Like it just went blank. Like, and then soon we just started hearing, there's a hacker. Like we just kept hearing that shit. We've been hacked. America's been hacked. It's a major emergency, that kind of shit. And everybody was all in a disarray, all confused. They didn't know what the fuck to do. And all I remember was our debit cards and our credit cards couldn't work no more. 3 days after that, they started raiding the cities, like troops everywhere. It was just crazy. Helicopters flying, middle of the night, like that type of shit. So I woke up and I was like, I kind of forgot about it. So when I was brushing my teeth this morning, I was like, oh shit, I did have a dream about this. And I was thinking about doing a video on it, but hey, the Spirit just has it coming out now. But if there's any reality to that, it makes sense. They shut down the whole system, the grid where you're able to use your debit card and credit card. And now the new system has become the thing. This is just what it is. And if you don't deal with it, you're pretty much screwed. But it's within 3 days, you out of there. You know what I'm saying? You out of there, man. But hey, they're going to do it, and it's going to be a sudden thing. Like, it was just, it felt like suddenly. You know what I'm saying? Just out of nowhere, we're all sitting there chilling, whoa, boom, everything out. And then all of a sudden, you can't use your debit card, you can't use your credit card, and it's like, what the fuck? And then, there was war. It's like people were actually fighting and all kinds of crazy shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, who knows? But we're inching closer and closer to that time. That MOTB is next. That's the next major prophecy, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I just want to, bring that out real quick.
Yeah, hey, I just reminded me. I had a dream. I think either the night before, the night before the Day of Atonement. Basically, in the dream, I was outside, and it's funny because shit just went wild out of nowhere. It always happens just out of nowhere. It's like for 2 seconds everything is fine, and then reality hits, and it's like people just started going wild. The gunshots started getting fired and shit. So I ducked back into my crib, and I went back upstairs, and it's like everything had changed. You had to barricade your doors because shit was wild. Like there were people killing each other outside and all of that. And I remember that it got to the point where people started coming up, trying to break into the crib. And all of a sudden, I had a nice little, defense weapon on me. So I started putting people down. And I accidentally put one in somebody's back. Apparently somebody that I knew or whatever the case was. But it was basically it was the mindset, at least in the dream, the mindset I had was it's either you or it's them. Like they're literally coming with the mindset that they're about to put you out. They're about to steal, kill, and destroy. Like 2 Ezra 15, full on. And once they had that aggression, like once they open up this door, so and in the dream it feels very real. Like the mindset, the way your heart starts beating, the process you have to go in, you have to lock into a different mindset, and understand that, this ain't a video game. This ain't a movie. This is not make-believe. This is not, Hollywood. This is real life. Somebody is actually looking at you with the intent to harm you. And that's what's going to be happening in real life. People are not going to believe it until they got somebody with their hand choking them out, and then looking at the person looking them in the eyes, and they start to feel their life slipping away. That's when they realize, oh shit, I'm actually dying right now. Somebody is actually trying to kill me right now. And then they start to panic and bug out. Then they start screaming and trying to kick and all of that. That's when reality sets into people's minds, because when this shit first hits, people are going to be in a panic of denial. No. There's no way things just got that bad out of nowhere. Then they might see somebody get run over right in the middle of the street. Maybe an old lady. A truck might just come full speed, boom, like the Purge. Hit her ass and just keep on going. Then you cut the corner over here, you already hear pow, 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 pow. Then reality is gonna set in like, what the hell is going on? You gonna try to turn back, but it ain't gonna be no turning back, like the movie Bushwick. See, that's when reality sets in and people start realizing, like their heart starts beating. They actually start getting scared, like for real. And then they realize, all right, we're in a different time zone right now. But let's go back to that.
2 Ezra 2:42. I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs.
This is talking about the Israelites, mainly the elect. Go on.
And in the midst of them there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted.
So he was crowning the elect, really the 144,000, starting with them, okay, because they're going to be the governing body, and he was crowning them, but he was more exalted because he was the first. Go on.
Which I marveled at greatly.
You going?
So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these?
Yeah, so what's going on? Who are these? What's happening here? Because it's a vision that Ezra is seeing. Go on.
He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal.
So they were changed. So that means when they got crowned, they were changed. They got beamed up, their bodies got changed, and then now they're receiving their crown. Because that's what it means by putting off the mortal clothing. The mortal clothing is the mortal bodies. Okay, because your body is another form of a clothing. It clothes your spirit. And they put on the immortal. So the Lord changed us. Like in 1 Corinthians 15. Go on.
And have confessed the name of God. Now are they crowned and receive palms.
Yeah, so now they're getting their reward for standing stiffly for the name of the Lord and confessing his name, which comes with coming out and laboring and sticking to the truth. Continue thou in the things that which thou hast learned, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. Go on.
Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands?
So remember, he saw an innumerable multitude. He saw some getting crowned. He said, yo, who are these? The angel explained it. They said, okay, so who's that? The one that's actually putting crowns on them. Go on.
So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly
for the name of the Lord.
Yeah, he's like, damn, that's oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So even the concept of the Son of the Most High, the Messiah, is even up in the Old Testament. Okay, because Ezra's in the Old Testament. Was it on that? Yeah, so that links back to where we were at in Matthew 24. Let's go back there.
Matthew 24 and 8. Now all these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
So they were hated for the Lord's name's sake, but they stood stiffly for the name of the Lord, and that's why they got that crown, that reward. Right? And people are going to betray one another. They're going to be sellouts. They're like Judas. If Judas did it to the Lord, why do you think that they wouldn't do it to us? Go on.
And many false prophets shall arise and deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound,
and that's what you're seeing going on now. That's why we're always talking about, these other groups and these false leaders that are misleading you. Because the Lord said it would happen. And we're just calling it out. We're pointing it out. Go on.
The love of many shall wax cold, but he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved.
Right. So because iniquity shall abound, when you go into that, it goes into lawlessness, anarchy. Right? Anarch, which is without, and key, meaning rule. So without rule or chaos, it's going to lead to the love of many waxing cold. No, people are not keeping the laws of the Heavenly Father, and they definitely not keeping the laws of the land. 2 Ezra 15 tells you that. So they're going to be merciless because they're going to be in a crazed frenzy due to lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right? They're going to be in prison. It ain't going to stop them. Okay? Let an EMP hit. Guess what? A lot of those prison cells are electronically controlled. They press a button, and you hear the and the door unlocks or the door locks, and it automatically closes itself. So if the power goes out, them doors are going to unlock. And you think there's more prison guards than there are prisoners? No. So when them prisoners come out here, they're coming out wild. The prison guards ain't going to be there. Listen, man, a prison guard is not going to stand there and say, let me try to stop you when the lights are out. I'm out. Shit, don't touch me. I'll let you out. And next thing you know, they take them cars and they start flooding the cities. So you wondering, what's going on? You running, there's a fire. You turn around, you cut the corner, you see somebody in an orange jumpsuit. And they running, boom, and they stop. And they look at you. Oh, okay. All right. And they start coming for you. The second they see you, you become a prey. Especially if you're a woman. And dude has been in there 8 years, fantasizing about the last time he was with a woman. And he comes out and he sees society don't even got cops. Everything is already destroyed. He's like, well, this is a free-for-all. Yeah, free food. And I just saw you. And I'm hungry. So it's pretty much over for you. Now you're going to outrun him? Go on.
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations.
So how is that happening? It's happening through the internet. All right? Through the World Wide Web. So everything that we teach, it goes up in here because this is a so-called live stream. Right? So you got a camera in there that's taking, you got a camera and a microphone. It's storing up all of your words. It's storing up all your pictures. That's really what videos are. Videos are just pictures, motion pictures, right? Pictures that are put sequentially after each other, in a certain speed to make it look like motion. So everything we're doing is getting stored up in there. It's getting chopped up. Then it's getting sent in ones and zeros all over through magnetic waves and whatnot up into them satellites, bouncing off of them and going to everybody else's devices. Then their device receives them packets. Then they unpack them. Then they display it on your screen. So wherever you are, we're in one location, but at the same time, we're everywhere that the camera's on. Everywhere that's streaming this video right now, we're there. We could be in Africa. We could be in India. We could be in Austria. We could be in Germany. We could be in Russia. Who knows? Wherever anybody's tuning in from, that's where we at. Okay? So they can see and they can hear. And that's how the gospel is being spread. So do we have to physically take a plane to Russia to go and spread the gospel? No. This is going to do it for us. And that's why the Lord put the Spirit on them to spread that out there. Because it was going to take way too long if we had to actually travel all around the world today, because the world is bigger now. Go on.
And then shall the end come.
And then shall the end come. So we're seeing the signs of the end. What does that tell us? That this word is going out. Everybody's talking about the Israelites. Everybody knows about the Israelites. Okay? Go on.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet
So now pause. Let's jump real quick to Daniel 9, because that's where Yahushua was quoted. He was referring back to Daniel 9, the abomination of desolation, which was going to be the siege of Jerusalem, the Romans coming in there and making the sanctuary and the temple and the walls desolate, which was done by really was done by Titus, because what's this guy's name? Vespasian, which was his father, was sent by Nero, because Nero was still the Caesar at that time. I forgot the exact year, maybe 69 or so. But he basically sent Vespasian and Titus to go up in there and to go quell those revolts. And they came up in there, came up from Syria, and they just brought that calamity down. All right, but after a period of time, this guy, after they took over the Galilee and that region, Vespasian had to come back, and he left his son. He left Titus in charge. Okay, but after that was pretty much after they captured this guy, Flavius Josephus. You know, because really after Josephus, after the war, how do you think it was that he was able to give such an account when you read in the book of Josephus? Because a lot of those historical accounts they get from his book or his writings, because he became a slave to the Flavians. That's why he got that Flavius Josephus. He became a slave to the Flavians, but they treated him right. And they took his ass back to Rome. He was a POW, a prisoner of war, because he actually fought in the siege of Jerusalem. That's why he can describe the horrors that were seen in there. And then they took his ass prisoner, but then they treated him good. They gave him land. They gave him all of that. So he lived the rest of his life, you know, documented shit, you know. And the Lord had it like that, so some form of the history could be preserved. Okay, but nonetheless, that abomination that make it desolate was when the Romans came up in there and they completely decimated the land. That's what he was warning them about in the first verse. About the temple you're seeing right now, it's just going to be stones and heaps and all of that. So let's read that. Daniel 9 and start at 27. Let's see what it says at 27. What's the last verse? 29?
Last verse 27.
All right, start at 27. Read that.
Daniel 9 and 27. And he shall confirm the covenant.
He is talking about the Romans. Go on.
With many for 1 week.
Which is representing 7 years. Go on. And that's I think from what, around 66 to about 73 AD. Go on.
And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease.
So in the midst of the 7 years is 70 AD. So from right around from 66 to about 70. Because you had Israelites that started revolting around that time of 66 because of this guy, Gessius Florus. When you look him up, Gessius Florus basically had it to where I forgot what atrocity he did. He either robbed the temple or not the temple, but he robbed something, all right, and put Israelites to death. And Jake just had it at that point. They said, "F this shit," you know. Then they started attacking the Roman garrisons. They started attacking Roman cities. If Romans brought some troops in there, they fucked them up, you know. And the revolt just basically started.
I believe there was an account where he was basically trying to build some type of waterway through the land of this one, through the land of Jerusalem. He was trying to build a waterway right through, and Jake was like, "We ain't having this shit." So they came out, you know, protesting it, and he got pissed. So he told the soldiers, "Yo, you do something about this." You know what I'm saying? Just don't go too crazy. It ended up getting crazy. Jake got put to death. Romans got put to death, and it became a thing where he's like, "Hey, we need to call Rome to bring the real military in here to quell this bullshit." So it was constant. It wasn't just like one time. It was constantly where Jake was just revolting back and forth, man. You know, you had many Jewish Roman wars. You know what I'm saying? But just to name a few, but, you know, going back to that point that you made, it was always some type of revolt that caused, you know, the Romans to come down with that heat. You know, you're going to see the same thing again this time around. You know what I'm saying? No new thing under the sun.
Yeah,
you know?
I got something here. It says one, and this dealing with Gessius Florus, it says one notable instance of provocation occurred while the Jews were worshiping at their local synagogue, and a Hellenist sacrificed several birds on top of a chamber pot at the entrance of the synagogue. Hey, wildin', bro. It says an act that rendered the building ritually unclean. In response to this action, the Jews sent a group of men to petition Flores for redress, which Flores was he was there from he was a Roman procurator of Judea from 64 to 66. So it says, so they basically sent people to petition, and it says despite accepting a payment of 8 talents to hear the case. So he accepted money from Jake to listen to what they had to say. Flores refused to listen to the complaints and instead had the petitioners imprisoned. Flores further angered the Jewish population of his province by having 17 talents removed from the treasury of the temple in Jerusalem, claiming the money was for the emperor. In response to this action, the city fell into unrest, and some of the Jewish population began to openly mock Flores by passing a basket around to collect money as if Flores were poor. Flores reacted to the unrest by sending soldiers into Jerusalem the next day to raid the city and arrest a number of city leaders. The arrested individuals were whipped and crucified, despite many of them being Roman citizens. And then that's pretty much what led to that outbreak of Jake saying, nah, they're going wild. And Jake went wild, you know, and they did that. And I believe for a period of time, Jake got some sort of autonomy, of self-control. And they got to the point where they were even minting their own coins with their faces on them, you know. And I think that was about maybe from 66 to about 68 or so. And then shit just got wild, and they started sending up. That's when we're about to read right here in the midst of the week, which is in the middle of the 7 years. The Romans sent up Vespasian to go up in there and put that thing down, because he was the leader of the Roman armies, one of them top generals. Go on.
All
right.
Daniel 9:27, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
Yeah, so we had that covenant. We were good, right? We could do our sacrifices. Obviously, we couldn't have a king, but we could do our priestly sacrifices and live, semi-autonomously. Go on.
And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease.
And they did that when they came up in there with the siege. And a lot of people fled from up north down to Jerusalem, because Jerusalem was a defense city. It had a fortress, walls, and all of that. Go on.
And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate.
He shall make it desolate. So what do you make desolate? They destroyed the walls. And when they got through the walls, they destroyed the temple. Everything. The sanctuary, the temple, the city. And it was ruins. That's what the Ark of Titus is all about. Go on.
Even unto the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
Yeah, so this is what was determined, meaning it was set up already that this was going to happen. And that's what Yahushua was warning them about. So that's what he was telling them about here. When you shall see the abomination that make up desolate. And what did they do? They made Jerusalem desolate. What?
Matthew 24 and 15 again. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them.
So when you see the Romans pull up, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then what?
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains.
What verse you on?
Matthew 24 and 16.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna read up to 21, then we're going to there. All right.
Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Yeah, because back then the housetop, the buildings were designed in a way where you can make it to the rooftop, and the rooftop was used as a place where you would pray, or have a nice little chill area, or even dry your clothes or your crops and so on. That's where Peter was when he got the vision about the basically about Cornelius, put it like that, right? So if you up there, don't come down back into your crib to try and grab no clothes or nothing. You better dip, Go on.
Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
If you're in the field, don't even think about it, bro. Just book it through the nearest trail path you can find. Go on.
And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
And when you read the accounts of it, you'll find out why. A lot of them had to do mercy killing. Not only did you have to worry about yourself, but your children as well. And if you couldn't, as it says, that give suck, right? If you couldn't eat to sustain your strength, what milk were you going to have to give your children? Go on.
But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day.
Because it was going to be harder if you had to flee in the winter on the Sabbath day. Go on.
For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time.
And that's talking about now. That great tribulation, that links up with Jeremiah 30:7, Daniel 12:1, and various other precepts. And that time is known as Jacob's trouble. such as never was since there was what?
Since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be.
Nor ever shall be. So that this time he was referring to is talking about now that we're in. Let's actually finish on 20.
And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved for the elect's sake. Those days shall be shortened.
Yeah, so just like Haran was saying earlier, except those days should be shortened, except those days be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. With the things that these devils are coming up with, if the Lord doesn't shorten up these days to where the prophecies hit, and then he sends Yahushua back, we ain't making it out of here. Because their plans are to eliminate humans. Put it like that. They want only modified beings on the earth. They don't want humans. They don't want anybody that's purely organic. That's what this demon Harari is talking about. They need to make you inorganic so you can be a part of their creation. Okay? That's what they're looking for. But let's be Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not going to let that succeed.
I have to say something slightly becoming late, but the reason why he talks like that, the reason why they have those plans, because if you listen to him, he talks about whoever controls the data controls everything. So if they make you, pretty much inorganic, mechanical, and all that, you controlled up to, what is it, the internet of the concept? The internet of bees. Okay, yeah. The internet of bees, bodies, yeah. They can now tap into you and now control you and things like that. So that's why the reason why he says I forgot what interview it was. I think it was probably an hour long. I think maybe if I remember correctly, he had a blue background behind him, and basically going into how whoever controls the data controls everything. Yep. So if everybody is connected to the system, they can control everything.
Yep. So humans are hackable creatures. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, you got anything else?
Yeah, pretty much, closing out, understanding that the times that we're in is what provokes Yahushua to come back, right? It's not like, there's a set time. That's why the scripture says no man knows the day or the hour, right? That Yahushua is going to make his return. But ultimately, he makes his return because he has to stop these devils from whatever it is that they're trying to do. You see what I'm saying? And they know that they don't have much time. So everything is speeding up. The prophecies are speeding up. Everything is moving quickly. So then the Lord is going to have to put that spirit on Yahushua to say, okay, go down and stop them now. You see, and that's why he's waiting for that go ahead. So these devils are also racing against time. Everything is moving quickly because the Lord said he's going to shorten these days for his elect's sake, like we just read. So we just got to keep on praying for fewer and fewer days, man. The day of the Lord is closer and closer. It's closer now than it was when we were 5 years ago or 3 years ago or 2 years ago or 10 years ago, right? So we've seen all the prophecies, as we just read. The Lord is telling us that these are the things that's going to lead to his return, and it's only going to get worse. So it's in the midst of the tribulation, in the midst of the sorrows, that we see the Lord of the return of our Lord come back. So, hey, man, we close. So, hey, keep the faith. Stay prayed up. Keep the faith. Do not fear. All right, don't fear. Keep the faith. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is walking with us, man. All right. So, hey, with that, Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatham. I'll pass it to you, brothers.
Done. Yeah. So anyway, with that, we're gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Bakakadash. Next time, Shalom.
Shalom to the elect. Shalom.